Anybody familiar with that? Okay, Richard. Maybe? Okay. All right, for those of you that are not familiar with that, every one of us are born like this. This is emotion over intellect. We're all born that way. No child is born with intellect or developed intellect, I should say. So we're all born with emotion over intellect. And what happens as we grow and we start learning things and getting some knowledge, it starts changing where kind of like that, And when you become an adult, I don't mean an addict or an alcoholic, but when you become an adult, this is a healthy way it should be. An even balance of intellect and emotions. Not for us, though. Not for us at all. For us, we get by the time we get here. You ever heard people talk about when I got sober? I started drinking when I was 13, and I got sober at 35, and I came in here. I was like a 13-year-old, right? There's some truth to that stuff, okay? Because we come in here and we're run almost like this. Is how we run our lives. Nothing close to how it should be. An even balance of emotion and intellect. When you do, I did a relationship workshop in here. It's online if you want to see it. But one of the things I taught about having a healthy relationship is healthy people know, uh, how to get when it's time to get into a relationship, when it's time to get out of a relationship, because they run on an equal thing of emotion and intellect. People like us, we get into relationships we're like this. We just run on emotion. So, and then hopefully I'll be able to tie all this in. Last week, one of the things that did not get online was that $100 bill we did, right? And your worth. Okay. So you might want to write this down in your books. There's 4 obstacles that block us from God. 4 obstacles. Number 1, someone I will not forgive. Someone I will not forgive. Number 2, a restitution I will not make. A restitution I will not make. Number 3, a secret I will not confess. A secret I will not confess. And number 4, this one sucks. I hate this one. A dubious pleasure I will not forego. I know. A dubious pleasure I will not forego. A dubious pleasure I will not forego. So those 4 things, they block you from God. If you're holding on to any one of those things, or 2 of those things, or all 4 of those things, you're really screwed. You're really separated from God. Okay. So what we want to take a look at is when we're talking about believing, we're talking about finding the right perspective to get a relationship with a higher power. We're so caught up in this emotional way of life that the way we look at things and the way we focus on things is I have a house, right? What really is my house? Well, it's got a floor and a roof and four walls, right? And what we focus on is the stuff that we put in there. Nice table, big 80-inch screen on the wall, lounge chairs, and uh, nice furniture, all that kind of stuff, right? I never say to anybody, "Oh, come on over. I want to show you this 100-inch TV I got, and it's really cool." I never say to you, "Come on over. Let's talk about God." I actually do say that to people I sponsor, but um, in our normal way of life, that's not what we focus on. And the truth of the matter is that life is not in the tangible things, the TV and the furniture and all of that stuff that we have, the new countertop and all of that. Life takes place in the empty space, in the intangible, in between the four walls and the floor and the ceiling. That's where life happens. That's where you do things with your loved ones and your friends and people that mean something to you. That's where life takes place, in that empty space. Okay. So that's what I want you to try to get in touch with. Now, believing is, we're going to do an experiment, okay? And if you've been here before and you've done this with us, please keep quiet with that, okay? So I'm going to take a chair and put it over here. I'm going to ask Michelle to come and sit in that chair. And then I'm going to ask two women and two men to come over here and pick the chair and Michelle off the ground, only using two fingers each. How many people, raise your hand if you think two men and two women using only two fingers each could lift the chair and Michelle off the ground? Raise your hand.
Trick question.
Not a trick. It's not a trick question. It's not a trick question. It is an honest question. So you said you said that they could do it. Why do you say that? You did it before. I asked you please if you've done this before to keep quiet. All right. Now you just ruined it for everybody. So you remember summer camp, but you don't remember what I said 2 minutes ago to you. Okay. How many people don't think it's possible? So what is believing really? Believing with hope is believing in things that common sense tells you it shouldn't be. That's what hope is, right? Is believing that something that common sense says shouldn't be happens. So, can I have that chair on the end? Okay, put it right here for me. Michelle, would you come and sit here, please? Have a seat, honey. Thank you. Okay, I need two women. Ricky?
Freakishly strong.
Okay, come on. Oh, you two guys. It doesn't matter how big and strong you are. Come over here. Now, yeah, just hang out for a second. How many people said that it can't happen? Two fingers each. It cannot happen. Two fingers each. Okay, do me a favor. All you people that got your hands up that said it can't happen, do me a favor. Could you go back over there and behind that wall? Just take a minute and go over there. No. Two fingers. No. Two fingers. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Ian, come here. Ian. These two fingers. Okay, and I want one person here, one in the front, and one in that side. It should even out. If you go, let him get by. I want you over here. Okay. This here has to be.
Should be over here.
Okay, now when I count to three, it don't have to be high, just hold the hand to the ground. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 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 Hey guys, come on back. Okay. Okay, guys. Go ahead, you can sit down still. Thank you. Okay, guys, you guys that went over there, I'm going to tell you what happened. Michelle sat over here, and these four people only using two fingers, not two fingers on each hand, only using two fingers each, lifted Michelle and the chair off the ground. Do you believe me? Everybody that was here that saw that, raise your hand. Now, do you believe it? What? What? I didn't say it was going to be clean and it was going to be smooth. I just said it was going to lift off the ground. All right? And it did lift off the ground. I had a guy 1 year in this class. He was about 25 or 30 years sober. And he would not believe it. He would not believe it because he didn't see it. And I said to him, I think I said to him, in order for, when you went back there, I had to tell everybody to lie, and there'd be a big conspiracy against you when you walk back in here. And is that what you think happened? He said, I don't know what happened, but it didn't happen. No way that they can use two fingers and lift somebody off the, but they did. Again, it wasn't clean, it wasn't smooth, but it happened. All four legs left the ground, and they only used two fingers each. So, that takes believing. Okay? And a problem that we have is we tend to only believe in things that we can see, or the tangible stuff that I talked about in the house. You know, it's there, I could feel it, I could touch it, it's real. So the guy that was 25 or so years sober, I asked him, do you have a God in your life? He said, of course. I said, how? How do you have a God in your life? How do you believe in a God in your life if you can't believe that we all just said it happened? He said, well, I see what God does for my life and everybody else's life. But you don't see God, do you? So again, we're talking about learning how to believe here, right? Hope. That's all this is about. It's about hope. Okay. So for those of you that might be stuck or working with somebody, it's very common. We work with people that won't have nothing to do with God. Okay. And so what I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to read something. It's long. So I want you to relax. I want you to just relax. And I'm going to spend about 15 minutes to reading something to you. I'm going to read you a chapter out of a book. The book is called The Greatest Miracle in the World. The author was Og Mandino. It's a very small book. It's only 100 pages long. And this is one chapter. This chapter is entitled The God Memorandum. And what this is that God wanted to bring a message to you. And he thought, in modern times, what's the best way I can do that? Let me send a memorandum out to everybody. So I want you to relax. I want you to focus on what's God saying to you. What is God saying to you? Today you're going to have to make believe that God is from the Bronx. He's got an accent. So I think he was from the Bronx. He's one tough dude. Okay. So I'm going to read this to you. Again, it's a little long, so bear with me. If you've heard it before, just bear with us. If you haven't heard it, pay attention to the words. It's a very powerful reading. This has helped me help people come to God. It's not a religious thing. It's called the God Memorandum. This is from God to you. Take counsel. I hear your cry. It passes through the darkness, filters through the clouds, mingles with starlight, and finds its way to my heart on the path of a sunbeam. I have anguished over the cry of a hare choked in the noose of a snare, a sparrow tumbled from the nest of its mother, a child thrashing helplessly in a pond, and a son shedding his blood on a cross. Know that I hear you also. Be at peace. Be calm. I bring thee relief for your sorrow, for I know its cause and its cure. You weep for all your childhood dreams that have vanished with years. You weep for all your self-esteem that has been corrupted by failure. You weep for all your potential that has been bartered for security. You weep for all your talent that has been wasted through misuse. You look upon yourself with disgrace and you turn in terror from the image you see in the pool. Who is this mockery of humanity, staring back at you with bloodless eyes of shame? Where is the grace of your manner, the beauty of your figure, the quickness of your movement, the clarity of your mind, the brilliance of your tongue? Who stole your goods? Is the thief's identity known to you as it is to me? Once you placed your head in a pillow of grass in your father's field and looked up at a cathedral of clouds and knew that all the gold of Babylon would be yours in time. Once you read from many books and wrote on many tablets, convinced beyond any doubt that all the wisdom of Solomon would be equal and surpassed by you. And the seasons would flow into years until, lo, you would reign supreme in your own Garden of Eden. Dost thou remember who implanted those plans and dreams and seeds of hope with you? You cannot. You have no memory of that moment when first you emerged from your mother's womb and I placed my hand on your soft brow, and the secret I whispered in your small ear when I bestowed my blessings upon you. Remember our secret? You cannot. The passing years have destroyed your recollection, for they have filled your mind with fear and doubt and anxiety and remorse and hate, and there is no room for joyful memories where these beasts habitat. Weep no more. I am with you, and this moment is the dividing line of your life. All that has gone before you is like unto no more than that time you slept within your mother's womb. What is dead, what is past is dead. Let the dead bury the dead. This day you return from the living dead. This day, like unto Elijah with the widow's son, I stretch myself upon thee 3 times, and you live again. This day, like unto Elijah with the son of my son, I place my mouth upon your mouth, my eyes upon your eyes, and my hands upon your hands, and your flesh is warm again. This day, like unto Jesus at the tomb of Lazarus, I command you to come forth, and you will walk from your cave of doom to bring a new life, to begin a new life. This is your birthday. This is your new date of birth. Your first life, like unto a play of the theater, was only a rehearsal. This time the curtain is up. This time the world watches and waits to applaud. This time you will not fail. Light your candles. Share your cake. You have been reborn. Like a butterfly from its chrysalis, you will fly as high as you wish, and neither the wasp nor the dragonflies nor manatees of mankind shall obstruct your mission or your search from the true riches of life. Feel my hand upon thy head. Attend to my wisdom. Let me share with you again the secret you heard at your birth and forgot. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Those were the first words you ever heard. Then you cried. They all cry. You did not believe me then, and nothing has happened in the intervening years to correct your disbelief. For how can you be a miracle when you consider yourself a failure at the most menial of tasks? How can you be a miracle when you have little confidence in dealing with the most trivial of responsibilities? How can you be a miracle when you are shackled by debt and lie awake in torment over whence will come tomorrow's bread? Enough. The milk that is spilled is sour. Yet how many prophets, how many wise men, how many poets, how many artists, how many composers, how many scientists, how many philosophers and messengers have I sent with word of your divinity, your potential for godliness, and the secrets of achievement? How did you treat them? Still, I love you, and I am with you now through these words to fulfill the prophet who announced that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. I have set my hand again. This is the second time. You are my remnant. It is of no avail to ask, haven't you known? Haven't you heard? Hasn't it been told to you from the beginning? Haven't you understood from the foundations of earth? You have not known. You have not heard. You have not understood. You have been told that you are a divinity in disguise, a god playing a fool. You have been told that you are a special piece of work, noble in reason, infinite in faculties, express and admirable in form and moving, like an angel in action, like a god in apprehension. You have been told that you are the salt of the earth. You were given the secret even of moving mountains, of performing the impossible. You believed no one. You burned your map to happiness. You abandoned your claim to peace of mind. You snuffed out the candles that had been placed along your destined path of glory. And then you stumbled, lost and frightened in the darkness of fertility and self-pity, until you fell into a hell of your own creation. Then you cried and beat your breast and cursed the luck that had befallen you. You refused to accept the consequences of your own petty thoughts and lazy deeds, and you searched for a scapegoat on which to blame your failure. How quickly you found one. You blamed me. You cried that your handicaps, your mediocrity, your lack of opportunity, your failures were the will of God. You were wrong. Let us take inventory. Let us first call a roll of your handicaps, for how can I ask you to build a new life, lest you have the tools? Are you blind? Does the sun rise and fall without your witness? No, you can see. And the 100 million receptors I have placed in your eyes enable you to enjoy the magic of a leaf, a snowflake, a pond, an eagle, a child, a cloud, a star, a rose, a rainbow, and the look of love. Count one blessing. Are you deaf? Can a baby laugh or cry without your attention? No, you can hear. And the 24,000 fibers I have built in each of your ears vibrate to the wind in the trees, the tides on the rocks, the majesty of an opera, a robin's plea, children at play, and the words, I love you. Count another blessing. Are you mute? Do your lips move and bring forth only spittle? No, you can speak, as can no other of my creatures, and your words can calm the angry, uplift the despondent, goad the quitter, cheer the unhappy, warm the lonely, praise the worthy, encourage the defeated, teach the ignorant, and say, I love you. Count another blessing. Are you paralyzed? Does your helpless forms despoil the land? No. You can move. You are not a tree condemned to a small plot while the wind in the world abuses you. You can stretch and run and dance and work, for within you I have designed 500 muscles, 200 bones, and 7 miles of nerve fiber, all synchronized by me to do your bidding. Count another blessing. Are you unloved and unloving? Does loneliness engulf you night and day? No, no more. For now you know love's secret, that to receive love it must be given with no thought of its return. To love for fulfillment, satisfaction, or pride is no love. Love is a gift on which no return is demanded. Now you know that to love unselfishly is its own reward. And even should love not be returned, it is not loss. For love not reciprocated will flow back to you and soften and purify your heart. Count another blessing. Count twice. Is your heart stricken? Does it leak and strain to maintain your life? No. Your heart is strong. Touch your chest and feel its rhythm, pulsating hour after hour, day and night. 36 million beats each year, year after year, asleep or awake, pumping your blood through more than 60,000 miles of veins, arteries, and tubing, pumping more than 600,000 gallons each year. Man has never created such a machine. Count another blessing. Are you diseased of skin? Do people turn in horror when you approach? No. Your skin is clear and a marvel of creation, needing only that you tend it with soap and oil and brush and care. In time, all steels will tarnish, and rust, but not your skin. Eventually, the strongest of metals will wear with use, but not that layer I have constructed around you. Constantly, it renews itself, old cells replaced by new, just as the old you is now replaced by the new. Count another blessing. Are your lungs befouled? Does the breath of life struggle to enter your body? No. Your portholes to life support you even in the vilest of environments of your own making, and they labor always to filter life-giving oxygen through 600 million pockets of folded flesh, while they rid your body of gaseous waste. Count another blessing. Is your blood poisoned? Is it diluted with water and pus? No. Within your 5 quarts of blood are 22 trillion blood cells, and within each cell are millions of molecules, and within each molecule is an atom oscillating at more than 10 million times each second. Each second, 2 million of your blood cells die to be replaced by 2 million more in a resurrection that has continued since your first birth. As it has always been inside, so now it is on your outside. Count another blessing. Are you feeble of mind? Can you no longer think for yourself? No. Your brain is the most complex structure in the universe. I know. Within its 3 pounds are 13 billion nerve cells, more than 3 times as many cells as there are people on your earth, to help you file away every perception, every sound, every taste, every smell, every action you have experienced since the day of your birth. I have implanted within your cells more than 1,000 billion protein molecules. Each incident in your life is there waiting only your recall. And to assist your brain in the control of your body, I have dispersed throughout your form 4 million pain-sensitive structures, 500,000 touch dictators, and more than 200,000 temperature dictators. No nation's gold is better protected than you. None of your ancient wonders are greater than you are. You are my finest creation. Within you is enough atomic energy to destroy any of the world's great cities and rebuild it. Are you poor? Is there no gold or silver in your purse? No, you are rich. Together we have just counted your wealth. Study the lists, count them again, tally your assets. Why have you betrayed yourself? Why have you cried that all the blessings of humanity were removed from you? Why did you deceive yourself that you were powerless to change your life? Are you without talent, senses, abilities, pleasures, instincts, sensations, and pride? Are you without hope? Why do you cringe in the shadows, a giant defeated, awaiting only sympathetic transport into the welcome void and dampness of hell? You have so much. Your blessings overflow your cup, and you have been unmindful of them, like a child spoiled in luxury, since I have bestowed them upon you with generosity and regularity. Answer me. Answer yourself. What rich man, old and sick, feeble and helpless, would not exchange all the gold in his vault for the blessings you have treated so lightly? Know then the first secret to happiness and success, that you possess, even now, every blessing necessary to achieve great glory. They are your treasure, your tools with which to build, starting today, the foundation for a new and better life. Therefore, I say unto you, count your blessings and know that you are already my greatest creation. This is the first law you must obey in order to perform the greatest miracle in the world, the return of your humanity from a living death. And be grateful for your lessons learned in poverty, for he is not poor who has little, only he that desires much. And true security lies not in the things one has, but in the things one can do without. Where are the handicaps that produced your failure? They existed only in your mind. Count your blessings. And the second law, like unto the first, proclaim your rarity. You had condemned yourself to a potter's field, and there you lay, unable to forgive your own failure, destroying yourself with self-hate, self-incrimination, and revulsion at your crimes against yourself and others. Are you not perplexed? Do you not wonder why I am able to forgive your failures, your transgressions, your pitiful demeanor, when you cannot forgive yourself? I address you now for 3 reasons. You need me. You are not one in a herd heading for the destruction in a gray mass of mediocrity, and you are a great rarity. Consider a painting by Rembrandt. or a bronze by Degas, or a violin by Stradivarius, or a play by Shakespeare. They have great value for two reasons. Their creators were masters, and they are few in number. Yet there are more than one of each of these. On that reasoning, you are the most valuable treasure on the face of this earth, for you know who created you, and there is only one of you. Never in all the 70 billion humans who have walked this planet since the beginning of time has there ever been anyone exactly like you. Never until the end of time will there be another such as you. You have shown no knowledge or appreciation of your uniqueness. Yet, you are the rarest thing in the world. From your Father, in his moment of supreme love, flowed countless seeds of love, more than 400 million in number. All of them, as they swam within your mother, gave up the ghost and died. All except one, you. You alone persevered with the loving warmth of your mother's body, searching for your other half, a single cell from your mother, so small that more than 2 million would be necessary to fill an acorn shell. Yet, despite impossible odds, in the vast ocean of darkness and disaster, you persevered, found that cell, joined with it, and began a new life, your life. You arrived bringing with you, as does every child, the message that I was not yet discouraged of man. 2 cells now united in a miracle. 2 cells, each containing 23 chromosomes, and within each chromosome, hundreds of genes, which would govern every characteristic about you, from the color of your eyes to the charm of your manner to the size of your brain. With all the combinations at my command, beginning with that single sperm from your father's 400 million, through the hundreds of genes in each of the chromosomes from your mother and father, I could have created 300,000 billion humans. 300,000 billion humans, each different from the other. But who did I bring forth? You, one of a kind, rarest of the rare, a priceless treasure, possessed of qualities in mind and speech and movement and appearance and actions as no other who has ever lived, lives, or shall live. Why have you valued yourself in pennies when you are worth a king's ransom? Why did you listen to those who demeaned you, and far worse, why did you believe them? Take counsel. No longer hide your rarity in the dark. Bring it forth. Show the world. Strive not to walk as your brother walks, nor talk as your leader talks, nor labor as do the mediocre. Never do as another. Never intimidate. For how do you know you may not imitate evil? For he who imitates evil always goes beyond the example set, while he who imitates what is good always falls short. Imitate no one. Be yourself. Show your rarity to the world, and they will shower you with gold. This is the second law. Proclaim your rarity. And now you have received 2 laws. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. You have no handicaps. You are not mediocre. You nod. You force a smile. You admit your self-deception. What of your next complaint? Opportunity never seeks thee? Take counsel, and it shall come to pass. For now I give you the law of success in every venture. Many centuries ago, this law was given to your forefathers from a mountaintop. Some of them heeded the law, and lo, their life was filled with the fruit of happiness, accomplishment, gold, and peace of mind. Most listened not, for they sought magic means, devious routes, or waited for the devil called luck to deliver them to the riches of life. They waited in vain, just as you waited, and they wept, blaming their lack of fortune on me. The law is simple. Young or old, pauper or king, white or black, male or female, all can use the secret to their advantage. For all the rules and speeches and scriptures of success and how to attain it, only one method has never failed. Whomsoever shall compel ye to go with him 1 mile, go with him 2. This then is the third law, the secret that will produce riches and acclaim beyond your dreams. Go another mile. The only certain means of success is to render more and better service than is expected of you, no matter what your task may be. This is a habit followed by all successful people since the beginning of time. Therefore, I say that the surest way to doom yourself to mediocrity is to perform only the work for which you are paid. Think not ye are being cheated if you deliver more than the silver you receive. For there is a pendulum to all life, and the sweat you deliver, if not rewarded today, will swing back tomorrow tenfold. The mediocre never goes another mile, for why should he cheat himself, he thinks. But you are not mediocre. To go another mile is a privilege you must appropriate by your own initiative. You cannot, you must not avoid it. Neglect it, do only as little as the others, and the responsibility for your failure is yours alone. You can no more render service without receiving just compensation than you can withholding the rendering of it without suffering the loss of reward. Cause and effect, means and ends, seed and fruit, these cannot be separated. The effect already blooms in the cause, and the end pre-exists in the means, and the fruit is always in the seed. Go another mile. Concern yourself not should you serve an ungrateful master. Serve him more. And instead of him, let it be me who is in your debt. For then you will know that every minute, every stroke of extra service will be repaid. And worry not should your reward not come soon. For the longer payment is withheld, the better for you. And compound interest is the law's greatest benefit. You cannot command success. You can only deserve it. And now you know the great secret necessary in order to merit its rare reward. Go another mile. Where is this field whence you cried was no opportunity? Look around thee. See where only yesterday you wallowed on the refuse of self-pity, you now walk tall on a carpet of gold. Nothing has changed except you. You are everything. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. And now the laws of happiness and success are three. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. Go another mile. Be patient with your progress. To count your blessings with gratitude. To proclaim your rarity with pride. To go an extra mile and then another. These acts are not accomplished in the blinking of an eye. Yet, that which you acquire with most difficulty, you retain the longest. As those who have earned a fortune are more careful of it than those by whom it was inherited. And fear not as you enter your new life. Every noble acquisition is attended with risk. He who fears to encounter the one must not expect to obtain the other. Now you know you are a miracle, and there is no fear in a miracle. Be proud. You are not the momentary whim of a careless creator experimenting in the laboratory of life. You are not a slave of forces that you cannot comprehend. You are a free manifestation of no force but mine, of no love but mine. You were made with a purpose. Feel my hand. Hear my words. You need me, and I need you. We have a world to rebuild, and if that requires a miracle, what is that to us? We're both miracles, and now we have each other. Never have you lost faith. Have I lost faith in you since the first time when I first spun you from a giant wave and tossed you helplessly on the sands. As you measure time, that was more than 500 million years ago. There were many models, many shapes, many sizes before I reached perfection in you more than 30,000 years ago. I have made no further effort to improve on you in all these years. For how could one improve on a miracle? You were a marvel to behold, and I was pleased. I gave you this world and dominion over it. Then, to enable you to reach your full potential, I placed my hand upon you once more and endowed you with powers unknown to any of the creatures in the universe, even on to this day. I gave you the power to think. I gave you the power to love. I gave you the power to will. I gave you the power to laugh. I gave you the power to imagine. I gave you the power to create. I gave you the power to plan. I gave you the power to speak. I gave you the power to pray. I gave you the power to heal. My pride in you knew no bounds. You were my ultimate creation, my greatest miracle, a complete living being, one who can adjust to any climate, any hardship, any challenge, one who can manage his own destiny without any interference from me, one who can translate a sensation or perception not by instinct, but by thought and deliberation into whatever action is best for himself and all humanity. Thus we come to the fourth law of success and happiness. For I gave you one more power, a power so great that not even my angels possess it. I gave you the power to choose. With this gift, I place you even above my angels, for angels are not free to choose sin. I gave you complete control over your destiny. I told you to determine for yourself your own nature in accordance with your own free will, neither heavenly nor earthly in nature. You were free to fashion yourself in whatever form you preferred. You had the power to choose to degenerate into the lowest forms of life, but you also had the power, out of your soul's judgment, to be reborn to the higher forms which are divine. I have never withdrawn your great power, the power to choose. What have you done with this tremendous force? Look at yourself. Think of the choices you have made in your life and recall now those bitter moments when you would fall to your knees if only you had the opportunity to choose again. What is past, and now you know the fourth great law of happiness and success. Use wisely your power of choice. Choose to love rather than hate. Choose to laugh rather than cry. Choose to create rather than destroy. Choose to persevere rather than quit. Choose to praise rather than gossip. Choose to heal rather than wound. Choose to give rather than steal. Choose to act rather than procrastinate. Choose to grow rather than rot. Choose to pray rather than curse. Choose to live rather than die. Now you know that your misfortunes were not my will, for all power was vested in you, and the accumulation of deeds and thoughts which placed you on the refuse of humanity were your doing, not mine. My gifts of power were too large for your small nature. Now you have grown tall and wise, and the fruits of the land will be yours. You are more than a human being, you are a human becoming. You are capable of great wonders. Your potential is unlimited. Who else among my creatures have mastered fire? Who else among my creatures has conquered gravity, has pierced the heavens, has conquered disease and pestilence and drought? Never demean yourself again. Never settle for the crumbs of life. Never hide your talents from this day hence. Remember the child who says, "When I am a big boy," what is that? But when the big boy says, when he's grown up, and he says, "When I am wed," but to be wed, what is that after all? The thought then changes to "when I retire." And then retirement comes and he looks back over it and somehow has missed it all and it's gone. Enjoy this day today and tomorrow. You have performed the greatest miracle in the world. You have returned from a living death. You feel self-pity no more, and each day will be a challenge and a joy. You have been born again. But just as before, you can choose failure and despair or success and happiness. The choice is yours. The choice is exclusively yours. I can only watch as before, in pride or sorrow. Remember then the four laws of happiness and success. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. Go another mile. Use wisely your power of choice. And one more to fulfill the other four. Do all things with love. Love for yourself, love for all others, and love for me. Wipe away your tears. Reach out and grasp my hand and stand straight. Let me cut the grave cloths that have bound you. This day you have been notified. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Now, that's a powerful message, isn't it? Who heard that for the first time? Oh, wow. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it'll help you. And it'll certainly help somebody along the way that's stuck on this thing of God. That's a powerful message. First time I read that many years ago, decades ago, and I read that and I thought, I never knew I had all those things in my ears, in my eyes, in my head, in my body. I never knew I had that stuff. But it's pretty amazing. And that is not different than what we were talking about earlier. That we don't pay attention to the empty space in between the walls, that we're looking at the tangible instead of the intangible. And that, where our attention is on the 100-inch screen TV and not on God, not on the love and the space. So today's thing was really about trying to get on the right road here. Next week, we're going to get back into the book and we're going to get back into, following the directions of the second step, which are many and which are powerful. But I wanted you guys I wanted you to know that God is now here instead of nowhere, now here. So we got like 10 minutes. So anybody got questions on anything that we've done since we've started?
I just wanted to say, I think that there are probably a lot of people, I think we confuse belief with understanding when it comes to God. I need to understand God. Instead, until I realized and was told that God is a mystery and I will never understand it. So you could let that go, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Karen. She said that we kind of mess up with thinking we have to understand God when talking about belief in God. We'll just repeat that for the computer. So what? Listen, I've been sober a long time, and I could tell you honestly, I don't understand God. I do not understand God, but I have an understanding of God that works good for me, and that is completely different than I understand God. The understanding I have of God is a personal relationship I have with God. This is where I want to take you guys on this journey. This is what the book is insinuating for us to do, is to have a personal relationship with God, not a generic relationship. That's why I'm spending all this time talking about these things that may not seem it's important, but it really is. Because in the next step, in the third step, right? They're asking us to turn our will and our life over to the care of a God. Well, if I have no concept of a God, how am I going to possibly turn my will and my life over to? Can't do it. Most people go right past the third step without doing anything.
Okay.
Are they agreeing with me? So this is a process, and we have to have a personal relationship with God. We need a personal relationship with God. You know, we don't have to, luckily, we don't have to recreate the wheel. You know, we don't have to recreate who God is. The book tells us we can start from wherever we're at with God. But that's just the start. From there, now I need to have a personal relationship with God. Not a generic kind of God, a personal relationship with God. Big difference there. But that's a good point, Karen. Thank you. Who else got it? Come on now. That book, Og Mandino. I think it's Mandino. Og Mandino. And the book is called The Greatest Miracle in the World. And it should be in your spiritual section of the book. Yeah. It's a really small book. It's worth reading. It's a good story. Who else? Come on. Somebody's got to be stuck on step 1 or step 2 or something. Question about it. What we've been doing here. Okay.
Say, a lot of people skip over step 3, and I do see that a lot, but how much of an understanding do we need to have, or how far with our relationship with our higher power before we go on to the 4th step, like the first time you're working it? Because I know for me, I believed in something, and then through the steps, it sort of to develop. I didn't have some great grand understand, belief and relationship and with a higher power before I went through the steps. But I
Okay.
had something.
That's a really good question. And the book answers that question specifically. So, no, I know where it's at. I'm just thinking, do I want to go there yet? Yeah, go ahead. Let's go there. It's on page 60, 65, 65? No, not 65. 63, page 63. Okay, so in your book on page 63, and we were going to go over this, but we're doing it a little sooner. This top paragraph on page 63, a lot of people consider this the third step promises. These are not the third step promises. They are not the third step promises. I guarantee you these are not the third step promises. What these are here these are 10 results of the second step. The first reason you can know that these are not the third step promises, after this paragraph it says, we were now at step 3. Well, you don't get a promise of something you haven't even done yet. right? So if we're now at step 3, well, so where is the third step promise? It's on page.
$68.
68. Thank you. Page 68, the second paragraph says, perhaps there is a better way. We think so, for we're now on a different basis, the basis of trusting and relying upon God. We trust infinite God rather than our finite self or in the world to play the role he assigns, just to the extent that we do as we think he would have us do and humbly rely on him. Does he enable us to match calamity with serenity? That last sentence is the third step promise. Just to the extent that we do as we think he would have us and humbly rely on him, does he enable us to match calamity with serenity? If you're able to match calamity with serenity, you've got the third step. Okay? But now to answer your question, Karen, specifically, on page 63, I'm going to read you the 10 things, okay? You could mark your book. So it says, when we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. So here's the first one. We had a new employer being all powerful. That's number 1. Number 2 is he provided what we needed if we kept close to him and performed his work well. Number 3, established on such a footing, we became less and less interested in ourselves, our little plans and designs. Number 4, more and more we became interested in seeing what we could contribute to life. Number 5, as we felt new power flow in. Number 6, as we enjoyed peace of mind. Number 7, as we discovered we can face life successfully. As we became conscious of his presence. That's number 8. We began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, or the hereafter. We were reborn. That's 10. Okay? So now, if you can answer positive to all 10 of those statements, guess what? You're now at step 3. You see that? You're now at step 3. If you can say, yes, I am, I'm right now, right here, I'm getting that. So those, the top of page 63 are 10 results of the second step. If you answer affirmative to every one of those, every one of them, you're now at step 3. Does that make sense to you?
So, Danny?
Yes.
What do I do if I can't? What if I get 7 out of 10?
7 out of 10 ain't bad. But it ain't there. Yeah. Yeah, you keep working at it. Yeah. Because there's so many things in the second step. We're going to go over them all. There's so many things. Listen, the first step and the second step is where we're spending most of our time. And then we'll knock off a lot of these other steps in 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. Some of them, maybe the fourth step, 2 or 3 weeks, But the foundation of the recovery is the first 2 steps, right? So and then they bridge it with the third step, and so we could walk through this thing that we've built, right? But anyway, does that make sense to you, Karen? Okay. Yeah. But most people look at that as third step promises. They're not. They're not third step promises. They're results of the second step. So if you have those results, you're at step 3. That's what the book says. Anybody else got a question?
Right? So how do we differentiate if we have the power of choice? If I chose to go drink today,
Yeah, well, you also have a disease that takes away your power of choice. So, this wasn't written for AA. So, when God is saying, no, I'm telling you, when God is saying he gave you the power of choice, right? Well, your alcoholism took that away. You don't have the power to choose. So you either do this deal or this deal's going to do you. and you're going to drink. So you have no power of choice when it comes to alcohol. You may have power of choice in every other aspect of your life, but when it comes to alcohol, you're like Ricky. She sticks her hand on the hot stove, thinking this time it's not going to burn. But that's a good question, though. Got time for one more question.
It being a genetic condition.
What, your alcoholism?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. And the reason I don't have an answer for that, because it doesn't matter. You could be born, some people may be born alcoholic, and some people maybe develop it. But either way, it doesn't matter unless you drink. If you have alcoholism and never take a drink, you're never going to suffer from alcoholism. It's like if you're allergic to strawberries and never eat a strawberry, you're never going to have a reaction. Remember what an allergy is. It's an abnormal reaction. And so if you don't put alcohol in your system, it doesn't matter what you're born with. It's not going to affect you. So I don't try to figure out what came first, the egg or the chicken. You know, you're born with it, you're not born with it. Yeah, oh yeah, we're going to be on step 2 for a couple of weeks more. Yeah, I just did this tonight to hopefully set you on, help you out if you're stuck on the God thing, or maybe you're working with somebody that might be stuck on. We're out of time though, so see you next week. Oh, you can find it on Amazon. No, I'll phone you. Well, you may still have